from one mental cycle into a voluntary journey.
Right. See, I'll give you like little explanation over here. So liberation is like a free. I mean the definition why we are it's called liberated is we are free from all attachments. We become free from all attachments. So mostly, what is an attachment here? See, if you observe from the day we are born, all that we are learning is our external environment. So if the baby is learning, this is my mother, this is my father. I mean, they don't have the mother father word. So they know, the baby knows that it is being taken care of by these two people or whoever else is attending, right? So slowly they develop this bonding attachment to the external entities, even the toys which the baby is playing with is attached to, things like that. So slowly that identity of what I am is developing, correct? And interestingly, I was having a conversation with someone who is also a soul communicator, you can call it. And he has asked this question to this some higher entity he was communicating with. So basically, that entity has said only the human mind has access to these different dimensions, human consciousness. And it is also in the Indian scriptures, these dimensions are called loka. So there are 14 lokas. Loka means in a dimension. You can kind of translate it like that for an easy understanding. Like heaven is one dimension above the earthly dimension. There are six dimensions below earthly dimension and six above, and earth is in the middle. So total 14. Sorry, six plus seven above the earth. So that makes it 14 dimensions. Earth being the seventh dimension from the bottom, correct? And the next level is called Swargaloka, means heaven. And there is also Brahmaloka. Brahma, it's like Brahmaloka is not Brahma, it's Brahman basically. So that Brahmaloka, even in Gita, it explains on chapter 9 that even after reaching the Brahmaloka, the transmigratory life does not end literally. So the transmigratory life, even from heaven, we have to come back to this earthly plane again. Even after reaching the Brahmaloka, but you might stay longer there after death and you have to come back. And that is what the samsara means. Samsaranam. Samsaranam means the transmigratory life. You are going and there is a temporary pause after death and you take the life again. That's the understanding. So then where is the liberation fits into this dimension is that this once you go away from this all the dimensions, seven dimensions, the next step, the eighth dimension or the eighth level, you can call it as moksha, is translated in English as liberation. And then somebody might ask, what is salvation? Salvation is again between earthly and heavenly dimension. That's it. Salvation doesn't mean heaven. Okay. So, like that, if you kind of look into this journey of the soul, the idea is once you cross the fifth point, which is known as Pinda, all 5 points are known as in the Pinda Pradesh, the bodily region, you lose most of the attachments which are associated with body, means external. So those external bodily regions we cross. That's the whole idea. Okay. All right. So yeah, sister, we can continue reading.
Achieving liberation allows you to reach greater heights of consciousness in this life. In the journey at the second chakra, we start feeling the pleasant effects of liberation, and you attain liberation only after you cross the fifth chakra. But there are many more chakras to cross and regions to cover beyond the fifth chakra. Once liberated, you have the opportunity to keep going and complete the journey. What happens if you don't attain liberation? Whatever good deeds you do in your life grant salvation to the soul, which is much different from liberation. Salvation is a respite for some time from the cycle of life and death. It is a period of rest for the soul, during which the soul receives help from the spirit guides, the wise ones who train and guide souls on working through the areas that need improvement. The soul contemplates these lessons and prepares the blueprint for the next life. Once the period of rest ends, the soul incarnates and the cycle resumes. Liberation, on the other hand, confers total freedom to choose when and where you want to be born if you choose to.
Sorry. So in the state of liberation is what is describing here, right? So basically, think of it as like, losing all attachments. And then this is the point where the soul started to now kind of think of its inner journey. Until this point, all our desires, all our ambitions, aspirations are from the external world. Once we cross this Pinda Pradesh, right, and crossing the fifth point, our our inner conscious state, you might call it. It's a wrong thing to say soul. Soul has no thinking. Soul has no feelings. It is the consciousness associated with this embodied soul is what we are talking about. So whenever we are talking about soul as not as a pure soul, it is that embodied entity with the consciousness. So now it is aspiring for this inner essence, inner consciousness, and then it is looking at the inner growth. Just like how we aspired for the external growth, money, health, other things we ask in our life, now we start asking for this inner, aspiring for this inner journey. So this is where the truly the inner journey kind of start to make sense after this liberation point, right? Okay, yeah, we can continue
What,
reading.
what does it feel like to be liberated? You feel free, so free that you are beyond even the idea of freedom. The recollection of what was forgotten, your real purpose, helps you appreciate life more. By the recollection of purpose, I don't mean that your purpose is as clear to you as spring water, but it's a feeling of certainty in the heart. You know that on evolution, I will read it again. The recollection of purpose means that it's not that your purpose is as clear to you as spring water, but it's a feeling of certainty in the heart. You know that an evolution awaits you beyond the objective world. You are in this world, of this world, and aware that the real home lies elsewhere. You start preparing for that home with great enthusiasm. Think of it this way. There are companies where young management graduate starts as interns. They spend a couple of months in each department and learn. The interns are an enthusiastic bunch. They brainstorm, challenge the old ways of doing things, and absorb knowledge rapidly. What makes the interns enthusiastic is that their end goal is clear: learn as much as I can so I can succeed in the real job. Life on earth is an internship, and a liberated soul recognizes this opportunity in the depths of their heart. They use their time wisely and keep their eyes on the goal.
Yeah. See here, even goal. We talk about, see, let's say when we start in heartfulness, this is something we need to really understand. Okay. When I say goal, some wishful idea of some esoteric state we are talking about. Other than that, we don't know what goal is. Unless, see, everything is unless you experience it. See, for example, for a 5 year old or a 7 year old, if you talk about, what is a marital relationship really involves, you can, how much ever you can explain, they don't understand the aspect. It is left to their own imagination. Same thing here when we talk about goal from a really from a starting perspective, it's a wishful thinking. There is no real aspect to it. But as we move through these higher dimensions, as we move through this journey, sort of the glimpse of the goal starts to appear. And that starts from this state truly. But it is not still clear, but the clarity happens as we progress, right? So that's why whenever we say, oh, we start with the goal, of course we are starting with the goal. And the beauty of the transmission here, the pranahuti, the yogic transmission, truly gives that experience of that goal in our meditation. See why the a meditation without pranahuti and meditation with pranahuti. What makes the difference is with pranahuti in your meditative state, you start to have that experience of that goal. That means you get the taste of that goal. You understand? So once you get the
Yes.
taste of that goal, it is easy to ask for it. There is a word in Sanskrit called mumukshatva. Mumukshatva means seeking liberation. How can I seek something if I don't know what it is like? Can you seek something which you don't know? Absolutely, which you don't know. So it is impossible for you to say, I want this without even having the taste of it. And one more thing, liberation is you become free. What is being free means? There are two ways of looking at free. One way of looking at is all my attachments are dropped so that I am free. But are your attachments are really dropped? As long as you are alive, the body requires survival. See, what is the foremost, firstmost thing of any life is its survival. From the day it is born, it is fighting for survival. Moment it is born, it is fighting for survival. So truly, in that sense, in that aspect, we are not free. But here, in my understanding, from a liberated state, when it says you are free, that means you are mentally available for this state, for mentally available for this state to grow. Until this point, you are not available because all your aspirations are external. All aspirations are external. But now it starts to sort of become free, available for this state to grow. Just like how we are available for all our external aspects of life, now we become available for this internal aspect of life. So to me, that is really what free means. This available is very, very essential for our spiritual growth. So being available. That's why at least when we sit for meditation, close our eyes, just tell yourself, I'm available 100% for this journey right now, of journey of this meditation. And the more you are available, the more effective pranahuti becomes. Okay. So what's the time right now?
8:19.
Okay, yeah. We can complete this paragraph and then get into meditation.
Okay. In the liberated state, one is free from the sways of opposite. You arrive at a state called the undifferentiated state, Avyaktagati. In this state, the opposites do not manifest, and the pushes and pulls from the five C's and five D's are transcended. They now give you guidance on whether you should act or pause. You know that all the guidance you receive is for your evolution, and this understanding makes you generous.
So the five C's and five D's we learned in through all these points, right? The C's are like compassion. What else? I mean, I even forgot what the uh,
Contentment,
contentment.
contentment,
Yeah,
compassion, clarity, courage, and what is the other thing?
right. So all these opposites we have learned at each point, the pulls and pushes of every state. Once we cross this, then we are at liberty to choose. See, I can be courageous at the same time. I can think of the opposite, right? So I can be in compassion at the same time. I can also choose the opposite. So when you are above these opposites, sometimes all these are required in our being. All the opposites are required for us to survive in this world. So, but when you are above, you can choose. Otherwise, what happens is you are only going in one direction. You don't have the real ability to choose. Now, when you are free, when you are at a liberated state, you have the ability to choose according to the situation and exercise them. That's the beauty of being in a liberated state. You are not bound by any of these opposites. You are at free will to choose them, right? So, so now you're kind of getting the idea of what is being in the state of liberation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we can stop here and get into meditation.
Okay, brother. Thank you.
Yeah. Sure. So yeah, I'll do the session. So please start meditation. That's all.
Thank you, brother.
Okay. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you, Shankar Garu.
Yeah, as a,
You
you have a
brother.
good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
శ్రీకాంత్ ఎలా ఉన్నావు?
బానే ఉన్నామా?
You all recovered? You came back?
నైట్ నేను నైట్ వచ్చా.
నేను నైట్ వచ్చారా? ఓకే. రెస్ట్ తీసుకున్నారు కొంచెం మాట్లాడదాం ఏదైనా.
యా ఓకే విల్ టాక్. వర్క్ స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి మండే నుంచి. సరే చంద్ర.
ఉంటుంది కదా ట్రిప్ అంతా. ట్రిప్ అంతా కొంచెం హెక్టిక్ గా ఉంటుంది.
చాలా హెక్టిక్ అయింది, చాలా హెక్టిక్ అయింది. సరే ఐ విల్ టాక్ టు యూ ఇన్ డీటెయిల్.
ఓకే లేటర్.
ఓకే చలో బాయ్.